Okay, so let's look at mean deviation. So mean deviation is also a measure of dispersion, and it is statistical measure of the average deviation of the values from the mean in a sample. So how do we go about finding the mean deviation? So first, we find the mean of the distribution. Then after that, we find the absolute difference between all the data and the mean. And finally, we find the average of the absolute differences. So I'm going to explain what that means in a moment. So it is given by this formula: mean is equal to summation x minus x bar, and this sign here means the absolute sign, and what it refers to is that the number here will definitely be positive. So if you have a negative number, you change it to positive, then all over the total numbers that you have in the distribution. So let's try to solve an example which is an ungrouped data. So here we are told to find the mean deviation of 6, 7, 10, 12, 13, 4, 8 and 12. So how do we go about this? So as I said, the first thing you have to do is to find the mean of the distribution. So we know that the mean is given as the sum of all the terms divided by the total number of terms. So we sum all these together, which we have 6 plus 7 plus 10 plus 12 plus 13 plus 4 all the way up to 12. Then we divide it by the total numbers there are. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 8 numbers. So when we sum it up, we get 72, and when we divide by 8, we get 9. So the mean of this distribution is 9. So for the numbers, we write them in the first column, and that is what you can see here: 6, 7, 10, 12, 13, 4, 8 and 12. So now we find the deviation of all these numbers from their mean. So the first number 6, we find the deviation of 6 from the mean, which is 9. So 6 minus 9 gives us minus 3. So we subtract 9 from all the values here: 7 minus 9, 10 minus 9 and so on till we get to the last value, which is 12 minus 9. Then finally, we find the absolute value. The absolute value just means that you remove all the negative signs, so you change everything to the positive value. So minus 3 becomes 3, absolute value of minus 2 becomes 2, absolute value of 1 is still 1, and you change all the sign here, so you have just positive value. Then what do you do next? You sum them up together. So when you sum them up together, you get 22. So the mean deviation is given as the summation of the absolute value of x minus x bar over the total number. So when we sum the absolute difference together, we got 22. So the mean deviation will be equal to 22, and the total number in the distribution is 8. So we have 22 divided by 8, and that gives us 2.75. So how do we calculate the mean deviation if we are given the data now organized in a frequency table? So it's pretty straightforward. The mean deviation in this case, you just multiply the absolute difference by the frequencies before we sum them up together, and we divide it by the summation of the frequencies. So for frequency table, we know that the mean is given as summation of f times x over the summation of the frequency. So let's see an example to illustrate this point. So we are told that the scores in an oral test in mathematics for a class of 35 students are given in the table below. Find the mean deviation of the scores. So we are given the score and we are given the frequencies. So how do we go about this? So the first thing we want to do is we want to write out all the scores down like this. So after we have written them down, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We write out their corresponding frequencies: 1, 3, 5, 12 and 14. So to find the mean, we know we first have to find the product of f times x. So fx, so 1 times 1 gives us 1, 3 times 2 gives us 6, 5 times 3 15, 12 times 4 48, 14 times 7 times 5 70. So we sum up all our fx together. So our summation of fx gives us what? 140, and while our summation of f gives us 35. So our mean, which is summation of fx, that means the sum of all these value which is 140, over summation of f, summation of all our frequencies here is 35. So we have 140 over 35, and that gives us 4. So now we can find the deviation between the values that we have and the mean. So for this first value here, what will be here? X minus x bar. We'll just subtract 4 from all these values over here. So this first one becomes 1 minus 4, and 1 minus 4 gives us minus 3. So this becomes what? 2 minus 4 gives us minus 2. 3 minus 4 gives us minus 1. 4 minus 4 gives us 0, and 5 minus 4 gives us what? Then we'll find the absolute value, meaning we take away all the minus sign. So we just have 3, 2, 1, 0, 1. Then we'll now multiply this value by the frequencies. So 3 times 1, we have 3. 2 times 3, we have 6. 1 times 5, we have 5. 0 times 12, we have 0. 1 times 14, we get 14. Then we sum up our f times the absolute difference. So we get 28. So we know that our mean derivation is given by the summation of f into bracket x minus x bar over summation of f. Summation of f into bracket x minus x bar is the sum of all this over here, which you get as 28. And the summation of my frequencies is 35. So I have 28 over 35, and that gives me 0.8. So the mean derivation of this distribution is 0.8. So now, how do we calculate the mean derivation if we have a group data? So we make use of the same formula when we are given a frequency table, but there is a slight difference. And remember, when you have group data, what I mean by that is that your information is given in terms of class interval and the frequency. So what you have, for instance, is 0 to 10, you have 2, 11 to 20, you have 5, and so on. So you have what? Class intervals in this way. So now the only issue is trying to pick a single value for x, and to find a single value for x, what we do is that we make use of the midpoint of each of the class interval to represent x, and the midpoint is given as the upper class limit plus the lower class limit divided by 2. So if I want to find the value of x, say for this first rule that I have over here, 0 to 10, it becomes what? 0 plus 10 over 2, and that is 5. So I will represent this interval here by just a single value of x as 5. For this, it becomes 10 plus 20 over 2, and that gives me what? 30 over 2, which is equals to what? 15, and so on and so forth. So you add the lower class limit and the upper class limit together, and you divide it by 2 to get the midpoint. So let's see a practical example to illustrate this point. So now we are told that the distances to the nearest kilometer from schools to homes of 20 students are given in the table below. Find the mean deviation. So these are the distances, and these are the number of students that cover these distances. So for our first class interval, we have 0 to 4. So we know that to find the value of x, we just add the lower class interval 0 plus the upper class interval plus 4 divided by 2, and that becomes 4 over 2, which is 2. For the second one, it becomes what? 5 plus 9 divided by 2, and that gives us what? 14 over 2, which is 7. And for the last one, it becomes 10 plus 14 divided by 2, and that gives us 28 over 2, which gives us 24 over 2, which is 12. So let's take a look at the table. So now we have the class interval over here. So the frequencies are 2, 10, and 8, and the midpoints now, we said we add this and this divided by 2, we got 2, we got 7, and we got 12. So now we can easily find fx. So this value here represents our single f, so we can now easily proceed as usual. So we multiply f times x to get fx. So 2 times 2 gives us 4, 10 times 7 gives us 70, 12 times 8 gives us 96. So we sum our fx together to get 170. So our mean is given as summation fx over summation of f. Summation of f is 20. So my mean is 170 over 20, which gives me 8.5. Now I move on to this next column over here, where I have x minus x bar, and I've gotten my x bar to be 8.5. So I subtract 8.5 from all my values of x here. So for the first one, for instance, it becomes 2 minus 8.5, and that gives me what? Minus 6.5, which you have here. For the second one, it becomes 7 minus 8.5, which gives me minus 1.5, and the last one becomes what? 12 minus 8.5, which gives me 3.5. So the next thing is to find the absolute value. That means we just take away the negative sign, so we write only the positive values out. Then we'll multiply this absolute value by the frequencies. So we have 6.5 times 2, which gives us 13. 1.5 times 10, which gives us 15, and 3.5 times 8, which gives us 28. So we sum it up to get that summation f x minus x bar to get 56. So we know our mean derivation is equal to the summation of f times x minus x bar, our summation of f, and we have found the sum of our product of f times the absolute difference to be what? 56. So we get 56 divided by, and the summation of our frequency is what? 20. So we get 56 over 20, and that gives us 2.8. So the mean derivation of this distribution is 2.8. So I want you to really go through it again if you don't understand, and try to see the procedure. So you should take note that this example that I've used in finding the mean derivation, we are also going to use this same example when we are trying to talk about the variance and the standard deviation, so that you can easily compare and know the major differences between them. So that will be all for now. Bye.